Okay, we're doing double duty. So this, my friends, is part 2. Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is part 2 of the season 7 reunion for Married to Medicine. All right, so like I said, we got 2 parts of the 3-part reunion, and one day we're doing double duty. We're not going to sit around and play with each other. Let's go on and get into it. Like I said, they broke with the whole coming together of Jackie and Buffy, and that whole thing got squashed. So good, because that was just really dragging on. Now, down to some of the rest of the stuff that was going on. Jackie, Simone, and Heavenly. Now, this I'm floored at this even going on. We saw some things, but it was never really focused on that there was a problem. You know, I've seen Jackie trying to play mediator between the two, but never did I realize that it had gotten to a point where Jackie's friendship with Heavenly started being a detriment to the friendship she had with Simone. So I'm just going to say this. Simone, you're crazy. You're crazy, and you look crazy in these streets. You're a grown-ass woman. And anytime I see grown-ass people start this foolishness about trying to make people take sides and make people choose between them and other people, it is pure D foolishness. And in a lot of cases, most cases, you will lose, and you should. And you should. Anybody who sits up and tries to make someone choose between them and another person should end up standing by themselves. I've been through it many, many times. And generally, the person that's doing all the requesting and all the pushing, they always lose. You don't tell me what to do. I'm grown. I'm grown. And I don't need a friend that is trying to direct my steps. There's only one person that directs my steps. He sits high and looks low, honey. That's the only person that directs my steps. And it's an unspoken thing between he and I. You understand? So, Simone, you look a damn fool. Anyway, but this ain't about me now, is it? Okay, so she wants Jackie to choose. Heavenly is actually taking solace in the whole friction of it all with her petty ass. So I'm just looking and I'm like, this is ugly and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Now, they flash backstage where the men are. And they were, had a couple of things to say. Not a whole lot, but a couple of things. Everybody was bothered by it. Nobody liked it. Nobody liked the Jackie and Simone separation. Like, nobody was here for it. Not even the gentlemen were here for it. And Curtis said it. He wasn't even entertaining. He's like, that is going to fix itself. Trust me. Those are sisters. They've been together too long. They got too much. That is going to fix itself. Curtis didn't know how true it was, because once Andy kept prying and digging into it and carrying on, once it came up and came out, it had no other choice but to fix, because they love each other and they are sisters. And before any of this existed, there was Jackie and Simone. You understand? So I wasn't worried. Now, that one I wasn't worried about. I just didn't know how we got here and how it even happened. I was really shocked and appalled. But Simone, oof. I understand, sis, that you were really bothered by, because the stuff that Heavenly did with Simone was tacky. It was very tacky. And the thing is, you apologize heavily, but you ain't never stopped. You ain't never took your foot off of Simone and Cecil's neck. You have not. You take digs every time you get a chance at Cecil. How often do you think that this girl is supposed to keep on like rolling with you, keep coming for her husband? And she's been very respectful when it comes to Damon. Like, I mean, your husband's not non-readable. You try to put it out there like Damon is so perfect, but child, somebody could drag Damon. Drag him. He ain't no better than nobody else. People like Damon. Damon's very likable, but at the end of the day, you and Damon can be drugged. Right down, y'all can be drugged all over the streets, honey. Like, seriously, quit playing. Somebody get the joning and roasted and gagging. Y'all are not exempt. And Simone's petty enough to do it. And what we found out later, that she really, really is petty enough to do it. But anyway, so it ended up squashing out. The whole Jackie Simone thing is squashed out, and there was some hugs and some tears, and it squashed out. And then Heavenly's over there, clapping, and I just ain't feeling Heavenly. And this, I don't know. You were over there taking solace in the whole friction of it all, and I just thought it was very tacky. And you still, you got this thing. You got a whole hard on for Cecil. You really do. You really do. And you live this whole thing where you don't think men should say anything to you and everything like that. Damon need to check your ass. And you need to not be saying shit to and about Cecil. If you don't want Cecil saying things to and about you, you need to stop. You need to stop, because you cannot have it both ways. You can't be disrespectful and expect him not to say nothing back, and you expect Simone not to say nothing to you too. You need to get your goddamn act together. You tripping. You are truly tripping. And Cecil has really ate this situation. As the man, he got jumped on a lot. People drug Cecil a lot about him even having the back and forth. He'd have been called a bitch, and people then really came for Cecil's neck at the fact that he had a beef with you, a Twitter beef with you, made him look bad. You knew it. You played on it. But at the end of the day, for real, you were out of order. You had no reason to be saying the things that you said to that man. Y'all had a couple words, and you went all the way over and started weaponizing things that Simone told you in confidence on him. That was tacky as hell. That was tacky as hell. And that's when people say, you got to watch what you're saying, even when you call yourself in battle. You got to watch what you're saying, because some things you say you can never come back from. And I think you did and said some shit that y'all ain't gonna be friends. I don't see Simone and Heavenly patching that up, because I know I wouldn't. I wouldn't. You showed yourself to be a whole viper, and she told you things in confidence, and you go right to her husband. It was her husband. Things about her husband. That could have caused so much friction and conflict on their marriage that they were just getting back together. You just threw it right out there, just as cavalier. Girl, no, I would never forgive you. You and I would never be friends, and I wouldn't tell you shit. I wouldn't tell you that it was raining outside. If you asked me, I'd be like, girl, I don't know, maybe you want to carry a shovel, boots, and a raincoat. I don't know, because I wouldn't tell you shit. Nothing. Anyway, but that just says a lot about your character. And I'm going to throw this out there. What's up with Heavenly and Quad? Because I get the feeling Heavenly and Quad ain't where they once were. Did you notice they're not sitting next to each other on the couches at all, on stage or off? What's going on with Quad and Heavenly? And I think they moved past the whole common thing, or did they? I don't know. Something going on with Heavenly and Quad. I know Quad's behavior. I pay enough attention to her over all these years. Something ain't right over there. Something ain't right, and I need to know what it is. With my nappy ass, I need to know what it is. Anyway, Jackie said very sternly that she would leave this show before she gives up her friendship with Simone. She said they made a pact before they even decided to do the show that they would never let it mess up their friendship. And she said, I would leave. And Simone said, I wouldn't even let her leave. And then messy ass Andy said, well, would you leave for Heavenly? She said, both. Before I give up my friendship with either one of these ladies, I will clock out and tell you deuces, I'm out of here. And I will leave. I said, God bless the child that has his own, because Jackie got money. She don't have to have your little Bravo check. She got some money. I said, come on through, Jackie. Anyway, moving on. Here we go, child. Mariah and Quad. Listen. This is what I noticed, and this is probably what we're going to be battling you all. I know y'all been waiting to battle. So let's battle. That Mariah, sitting over there like the 10 man. And I noticed right away, well, she's been this way all along. She don't like talking about those drug allegations. She don't even like it being discussed. It makes her very nervous. She doesn't care for it. And I sat back today and I said, it's really ridiculous. Like the whole thing about her going to get her hair tested for drugs and all of that. Quad made it very clear that whenever she allegedly walked in on Mariah doing coke, this happened years ago. So what was that test supposed to prove? What is that test supposed to prove? That is like the dumbest shit I have ever heard. You want me to take a test or take test results from some shit that you did 4 months ago, and I'm telling about you snorting coke 8, 9, 10 years ago. Who gives a shit what your test results from 4 months ago say? At this point, you can be a whole different person. I mean, I'm sure you are. This show didn't exist. You know, y'all didn't live where you lived. None of that stuff. Back when she's talking about she walked up on you snorting coke, it was definitely alleged that it was in the past. Not last week. Not 4 weeks ago. Years ago. So what did that prove? I was like, that's why I was like, there was this whole battle back and forth. People was like, well, why wouldn't they read the result? Because it doesn't mean anything. Who cares? She talking about something she saw in the past. Just like she was talking about something she saw in the past. She said that she slept with her goddamn brother-in-law. That's been years in the past. That's all before the show and all of that. So again, your word against her word. Her and Lake had a fight and all that. We've seen that. But there was never any proof that she actually slept with her husband. They still have not given us proof that Quad slept with her husband. And she said something today that made complete and total sense. Complete and total sense. She said, and I've been waiting on her to say this because I've been knew this, that her whole damn family was in her wedding. The whole family. Child, her kids. Her little girl was the flower girl. Her little boy was the ring bearer. She was a maid or matron of honor. Aiden was on the men's side. Lake was in the wedding. The mama was part of the wedding. The whole damn family was a part of Quad's wedding. And Quad was married before this show started. All of these things happened after she supposedly slept with Lake's husband. How often does that happen? That some broad sleeps with your husband, you in turn end up being divorced from this man due to this infidelity. And then you end up being in that bitch's wedding. Where they do that at? Then you end up, and your sister is best friends with her, and they continue being best friends. And then they even go into business together, and they go on a reality show together. Make it all make sense. But dig this. Tonight, because I've been waiting on this too, Quad said, I'm down for a polygraph test. How about you? Mariah backed all the way up off of Quad, and that was the end of that whole segment. And that wasn't no cutting of the screen or none of that. When she said, I'm down for a polygraph test, how about you? Mariah backed all the way up. Of course, was like, whatever, girl, whatever. I ain't even. That's just how people do when it get time to fight. You know, when people be talking all that shit. And then you say, well, come on and whoop my ass then. And then they say, child, I ain't even getting into all that. It ain't even worth it. It ain't even worth it. Yes, it is. It is worth it. She backed all the way up off of that and left that alone. But you ran down there and cut a whole plug out of your goddamn head. But you ain't up for a polygraph test? Why, Mariah? Y'all can keep on playing these games and listening to all that bullshit that y'all want to. Then they went down through it, and old messy ass Andy, whose team Mariah and whose team Quad? Why Buffy's dumbass? I said, see, this is why you're never going to be nothing on this show. Whose team Mariah? Buffy threw her hand up. See, you don't know what you're doing. You were supposed to sit there and be quiet, goofball. You weren't supposed to choose nobody. You were supposed to sit there and be quiet, but you don't know what you're doing. You see, that's why you're sitting over there in a damn Penwar set in the middle of a goddamn reunion. Damn goofball. If you don't get your ass out of here, Buffy. Anyway, listen. Then there was a text question in from Lisa Nicole. I said, really? Of all people? And this was funny because they thought they was letting Quad have it, honey. Lisa Nicole wrote in there, this is all karma. How does karma feel? And she accused Quad of setting up the guy that came to that party and said that he slept with her husband. And you swore that was Quad's karma. Baby, Quad, well, you know, Quad's just another queen, honey. She's just like another drag queen, honey. And she popped right back real fast, baby, and gave her, no, baby. See, the difference between you and I is that she said, you said things about my husband and all that, and now you've been divorced. And Quad came back and said, yeah, darling, but the difference between you and I is I had the balls to get up and leave my marriage when my husband was out of order, and you didn't. I said, oh, girl, so you wrote in trying to let her have it, and then she ended up letting you have it in front of America yet again, and you ain't even on the show. So how does that feel, Lisa Nicole? You are a whole clown. You're a whole clown. You were a clown when you were on the show. You got clown once you were off the show. And then you going to dip back in to get clowned again when you really ain't on the show. Non-factor. Complete clown. And you're still married to Darren. Girl, if you don't get your ass somewhere and sit down, Lisa Nicole. Just, ain't you tired, Miss Millie? Ain't you tired of getting embarrassed? You should be. I'm tired for you. Shit. Anyway, moving on. So Messy Andy had asked the girl, who believes Quad's allegations about the drugs? Nobody. Who believes the allegations about Quad sleeping with Lake's husband? Nobody. So it's a wash. Who gives a shit? Don't bring it up no more. I just fell out laughing. I was like, now there you go. Don't bring the shit up no more. Who cares? Who cares? Then they asked Mariah about, well, why did you bring Lake to everything? Lake, you just brought Lake to everything. What was that about? And she admitted it was backup. I didn't feel like I had nobody, so I brought my sister. Whatever. Bravo. Anyway, so listen, then they get the guys, and the guys come out, and you know, they do the whole little thing about, didn't nobody really care. They really talked about the naked paint session versus the strippers and all of that stuff. So listen, so they're backstage again. It's all exposed again because Heavenly's sitting over there. Heavenly's getting hot as hell. She's mad. And this is when I picked up on it, and I was like, this is why you feel like you're embarrassed. And the fact that you got to live through this yet for a third time See, because, when they run this show back, they're watching while we're watching. So they're reliving it all for a second time. Now we're going to rehash it again for the third time. You mad as hell again. And then that ain't just the third, it's the fourth time for her, because the Heavenly is down here on YouTube making videos, doing reviews of the show, which is up. I don't understand. People love it, and her reviews, she don't do a bad job doing her reviews, but I just, that's something I wouldn't do. Like, I wouldn't review a show that I'm a part of. I'm not reviewing my own work. I'm going to do my work, and I'm going to put it out there, and I'm going to cut the camera off and walk away from it. I'm not review. It seems like an oxymoron thing to review the show that you're on. And it's scary as well, because she's under different contracts and stuff, and she just signed off on certain things. I'd be afraid to say too much, or to say the wrong thing and to get misconstrued and possibly give out a storyline or something to have yourself in a fix. You know what I mean? So I don't know, but hey, look. Go for it, sis, because her views and stuff are good. So, girl, get the bag, girl. You run around building extra spaces trying to keep up with Toya. You heard what I said? Trying to keep up with Toya, with your hating ass. Yeah, I said it. I did. I said it. But your misplaced anger is so unattractive. You are mad as hell at Bravo, and you're mad as hell at Damon, and it is just spilling, and it just make you look crazy, and it's making you act crazy, and it's making you act nasty and rude. But they were back there. Cecil started talking about Dr. Greg, and he was saying how Dr. Greg still talks about Claude whenever they see each other, because they're always seeing each other and hanging out and going golfing and stuff. Said how he still talks about Claude, and how he basically is, not happy that he couldn't fix that marriage, and the marriage didn't last like he thought it was, and she done went to crying. I said, oh, Lord, here we go. So I was like, yeah. See, I knew she was putting up a brave front and all of that. But, anytime you're in a marriage for that long, child, don't just click off. Even when you be mad as hell at him, it don't just click off. So it still gets to her, and it's obviously still getting to Greg. But eventually they'll move on. But again, it don't happen overnight. Moving on. So while the men are over there talking, the next thing you know, that goddamn Heavenly is throwing shade at Cecil. Why? Why are you doing that? Cecil ain't bothering your ass at all. Cecil's on stage doing his thing. You throwing shade. And this is where I say it's crazy, because you're sitting on a couch across from Simone. And you think she ain't supposed to say nothing to you while you over there shading her husband. Quit playing. Quit playing. Heavenly, you need, girl, that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. That just shows a flaw. There's a flaw in your personality. That's nasty. Very nasty. No, y'all ain't never gonna make up. Y'all ain't gonna make up, and I don't fucking blame her. That's ridiculous. Anyway, so she warned her. Simone warned her. She was like, girl, I'm ready to bust the girl code down. You're not going to just sit over here and just keep coming for my husband. You're not going to do it. And then she tested her. Baby, listen. You know the picture that is always built for us of Damon, right? Damon, it was so funny because Damon had just said on stage, I don't do anything. All I do, I go to work. I'm a real simple guy. I go to work. I work and I come home and hang out with her and the kids and go to bed and then do it all over again. I'm just a simple guy. I don't be doing nothing. And Simone, because Heavenly out there, she want to put down there, Cecil's a drunk. He's always drunk. Every time I see him, he's drunk. Baby, that damn Simone slid that right out, honey, a nice quick jab, honey, and said, every time you see Cecil, he's not drunk. But sometimes when you did see him when he was drunk, he gets drunk, and he's been out drunk with Damon. Now, fuck you. I said, oh. No, not your perfect husband. Not the perfect doctor that be drunk too. Because you would lead us to believe that your man don't do anything. All he drink is water. No, he be out drunk with Cecil. With the wino, Cecil the wino. that's always drunk every time you see him. I said, oh, baby, when I tell you that Heavenly's face was cracked, her face was cracked and on the floor, and baby, she bust out there and told Simone, fuck you, you fucking bitch, and went off. I said, oh, ding, 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 got you. One for goddamn Simone. Simone sitting on the couch looking at her. And she was screaming and yelling, and the contestant grabbed her ass up and drug her on out of there. Said, come on, let's do it, bitch. I said, girl, you pressed like a panini, ain't you, Heavenly? When all of that could have been avoided because you were out of order, you ain't have to come for Cecil. Cecil was not bothering you at all. You mad at Damon. You're mad at Damon. And you're mad at Bravo. Go tell Andy that you're mad. Take Damon home and cuss him out. Cecil and Simone ain't did nothing to you. But you got your face cracked. Oh, did you get your face cracked? I said, oh my gosh. She hit her right where it hurts. I said, okay. That's where we cut out. That was part 2 of the reunion. Child, and it's going to continue on. Listen, that damn Simone said, I ain't playing with her no more. Because I will take and I will drag Damon to his face if she keep playing with Cecil. I said, oh, well. I'll catch y'all next week on part 3.